Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a Gen 3 Ford Raptor. Now the reason I'm doing a review on this is because the 24s are going to be here soon, and so now that begs the question, do you pick up one of these leftover 2023s or do you wait for the 2024? Before we get into this video though, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Ed Kenley Ford here in Layton for giving me some time with this truck. This particular Raptor is available for sale. If you don't already know, Ed Kenley Ford does not mark up any of their product, including Raptors. So if you want a great deal on a Ford, reach out to them. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering this is a twin-turbo 3.5-liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 15 around town, and then 18 on the highway, with power outputs being 450 horsepower and then 510 pound-feet of torque. And yes, you can get the R that has more power, but this is the most common version of the Raptor, the EcoBoost. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So if you're running on the paint color with this one, it's Rapid Red, which I think works really well with the overall Raptor style. It gives it a kind of, I don't know, more upscale look in a strange way. But the Raptor comes with a lot of cool equipment. You guys already saw the marker lights and everything. We've got lots of skid plate protection underneath. You can see we've got the fog lights there on either side. And of course, we've got the wide body appearance with it. And that wide body appearance is for these bigger tires and wider tracks. So this has 35s wrapped around 17-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear. And this one has the beadlock capable wheels. Now, a lot of people ask me 35s versus 37s. I think 35s make sense for 99.9% of people because most people never take these off-road. And even if you do take these off-road, this is more than enough capability. The 37s have a little bit more ground clearance, but for what most people use these trucks for, it's not needed. And then the next cool thing about this is we've got the live valve Fox shocks. Now apparently they're going for dual valve for the 24 model year. I'll have to see if that actually drives better, but I can tell you that these shocks perform amazingly well. And this truck's a really clean build because they didn't do any decals or anything like that. And so you've got just a nice contrast between the gray elements and the red paint. And then being a loaded up Raptor, this is basically a Lariat. So you got like remote start, you got the automatic tailgate drop down, for example. Of course, you got the Raptor logo there on the back of the key fob, which is cool. No bed liner though. Ford doesn't really like to put bed liner on vehicles. That's just a thing that I've noticed. But yeah, you've got all the bed upgrades, outlet in the back, LED lights, all of that. And then even the tailgate with this automatically raises up. And so when you put it all together, again, this version of the Raptor I think looks fantastic on the exterior when it comes to the styling. And being a Raptor means we've got the crew cab. So we've got tons of space here in the back. I mean, 1,000,000 miles of legroom. You've got plenty of headroom back here. And then this one has the leather seats, which these are the seats that I recommend for most people. They're more comfortable than the Recaro seats. And yeah, I think they look great, especially with little kind of like accent pieces there on the side. But yeah, plenty of room here in the back. And then this one also has the carbon fiber package. And this leads us to the front, so you can see more of that carbon fiber trim. And again, you can see this is very similar to the Lariat interior. We do have blind spot monitoring, and then payload is 1,192 pounds. And then we've got the cool front seats here. And then you can see like all the light controls, pedal adjustment, all of that, and then the orange on the flag. Side steps make getting in and out quite a bit easier here with the truck. And starting her up. Ooh, full digital gauge cluster. Of course, got the paddle shifters here in the back and got the Raptor style steering wheel. And I don't know if you guys can hear the exhaust. It sounds cool. It's got a cool rumble to it overall. And then I believe this one does have the this one's got 360 camera. Again, it's a fully loaded truck, so you've got dual zone climate, heated and ventilated seats. You've got the off-road cruise control, and then the Raptor does come with the rear locking differential, advanced four-wheel drive system with four-wheel auto and four-wheel low. Got a wireless phone charging pad. This also has the workbench center console, which is nice. And I like this coloration on the stitching. It's more neutral, which is nice. I've got all your auxiliary switches here, and then we do have a panoramic center for this one as well. So here is our window sticker for this Raptor. You guys can see all of the equipment on it. And then total MSRP on this build, $85,510. And like I said, Ed Kenley Ford does not ever mark up their cars above MSRP. And most dealers will mark these Raptors up above. Anyways, let's take it out, drive it, and sum things up. Well, let us set off in this Gen 3 and try to answer the question, Should you do a Gen 3 like this, leftover truck, or should you wait for the Gen 3.5 is what a lot of people are calling it, the refresh on the Gen 3. And yeah, we'll drive this and answer that question. First off, I will say I haven't been in an F-150 Raptor in a minute, and it's always such an interesting, oh my gosh, that Jetta. Anyways, it's always such an interesting driving experience. The Raptor feels unlike just pretty much any other vehicle on the market. It has, you know, the TRX has a wide feel just like this, for example, but this has a wide, kind of like lightweight, sporty truck feel that's just very unique. And the EcoBoost, it's solid. You know, this isn't the fastest truck on the planet, but for a pickup truck, it's got really good power. And, you know, obviously the R, that's the one that's really crazy, but you know, the pricing difference between them, especially after the market adjustments you see on the Rs, this is a lot more reasonable. Now, when it comes to like the daily driving stuff, this package on the Raptor is perfect for daily driving. So with the 35s, right, the truck sits a little bit lower than 37-inch tall truck. It's a little bit easier to get in and out of. You get better fuel economy with the 35 package as well. And it's super comfy. That's another big benefit. The suspension and everything just handles bumps. I mean, it's a Raptor, right? It's a Baja truck. So it handles bumps amazingly well. And it kind of rides like an S. It's very similar to an S-Class. It's like a body on frame S-Class. That's a good way to kind of put it. And also there's a little bit less road noise with these tires compared to the 37s. 37s aren't bad, but again, this is a more practical package for most people, is what I would say. And yeah, just smooth. That's kind of, it's like a big part of this package, is just lots of smoothness with it. And again, even on the highway, again, it's not the fastest vehicle on the planet, but you can pass people. It's got a cool sound with the trombone exhaust. It's fun. And the steering wheel, it's another cool part about the Raptor. It's just this meaty feel to it, very sporty feeling overall. And yeah, you could just, so many miles on this truck. It's just such a comfortable vehicle. It really is kind of, you know, obviously it does the sport truck thing, it does the off-road truck thing, but it also, it's kind of like a luxury truck. Seats are definitely comfortable enough for that. And I mean, the only downside with the Raptor is just, with how tall it is, there's a little bit more, you know, wind noise and everything, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I did some road trips when I had my F-150 Raptors. I've had a couple now, and yeah, never had a complaint with them on the road. And the handling is so sharp for a truck. And you gotta remember, this is a vehicle that weighs over 5,000 pounds. And so you think that it's not gonna handle all that well. And it's not a sports car by any means, but for what it is, it handles pretty dang well. And the transmission's just, it's solid. They did a really good job with the tuning on it. It's not necessarily the smoothest all the time. It does kind of have a sharper edge to it, but I think that's kind of the theme of the truck, because it's more of a sports truck. And you guys can see the fuel range with this. That's another thing. So again, you get this truck's not broken in or anything, but you know, fully broken in, 35 package, you know, it's got like a 36-gallon fuel tank, easily over 500 miles of range on a tank. So you're not gonna have to fill up all the time like you might have to in a Ram TRX or a Raptor R. Raptor R, you're gonna have to fill up, you know, a little bit more often. Fuel economy in that's not necessarily the greatest. And the other thing is, even though this is a, you know, a wide vehicle, it's not difficult to drive. You get used to it. What I'd say about the Raptors is it drives bigger than a regular half-ton, but it drives smaller than like a Super Duty. So it's kind of in that in-between place in terms of how big it feels with the driving experience. And yeah, just the sound, it's fun. And you can see the transmission, if you're not getting into it too, you know, into the throttle too deep, it's smooth. It will smooth things out. So to sum things up here, should you get 3 or 3.5? Unless you're going to actually take the truck off-road, and I know this is something that I feel like it's like a cop-out for me, but it's true. I don't think the 3.5 is going to be worth it for most people, because The dual valve shocks, that sounds really cool, but that sounds like a thing where you might get some benefit on road, but this is already comfortable enough on road, right? Whereas most of the benefit, I'm sure, with that dual valve is going to be off-road with big compression. So if you're not going to take this off-road, if you're not going to experience big compression, right, then what's the point? And, you know, when it comes to pricing, you know, this being a 23 model year, again, a lot of dealers mark up the Raptors, but like, I'm sure that at this point, dealers are probably willing to wheel and deal a bit on these 23s since it's the 24 sales year. So I think that if you're just looking to enter into the Raptor world, right, I think that now would be the best time for a Gen 3. And I can say that confidently because, again, this is just before the 3.5's coming out, and this is the first time that there have been like Gen 3s available in the lot, that the market hasn't been super crazy. And so this is the first time you can actually get like a good deal. You're not having to pay, even though, again, this dealership never marks up their trucks. Most dealerships mark up these trucks 10, 15,000 over sticker. And so having Gen 3s readily available at, you know, MSRP and, you know, potentially below MSRP, I think there's never been a better time to buy one. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you would rather go for this or if you'd rather go for the 3.5.